At first glance, this circle of adults might not look like they have much in common. But when you listen to them tell their stories, you begin to understand they share something deeply personal.
I think it brought all the grief, the loss that I felt during that process.
Did I do everything I could have done to prolong her life?
Each of these folks have spent a considerable amount of time over the last few years caring for a chronically ill loved one. And now that their family member or close friend is gone,
when we have somebody in our life die,
they are rediscovering themselves as part of a Caregivers retreat, a no-cost program hosted by CaringMatters. CaringMatters is a Montgomery County nonprofit that provides social support and community education so that no one dies alone.
It's painful, but I hope it's also healing because you're understanding you are not alone.
This year's Caregivers retreat is the second for the organization. Ann Baker is the director of adult bereavement services for CaringMatters.
Well, I think often people have stopped their lives to become a caregiver. Sometimes they are juggling a full work and family and everything else while they're also caregiving. And I think acknowledgement is a big thing, just like acknowledging grief is a big thing. And when people call to register for this retreat, we often spend a long time on the phone, and I said, tell me about it. What was it like? And you can almost hear them go, you mean you really care?
The impact of losing a loved one can leave one feeling hopeless and broken. Even when years have passed since the initial experience, grief can still be felt on a daily basis.
I never really got to say goodbye. He never really said goodbye.
After more than 60 years of marriage, June lost her husband, Jim, last November after a lengthy illness.
So this is my Jim. Oh. And this was taken even though he had dementia at the time.
She learned about the Caregivers retreat through her bereavement group.
I figured, well, it may help me, particularly at this time of the year when I'm feeling so much emotion as well. Mainly, it's the loss and it's the aloneness and it's just that part of yourself that's gone after all the years that we were together.
It's going to be a very difficult rest of the year, and until I get past his passing.
I feel like it's difficult now because I'm remembering all of what we did go through.
She acknowledges her role as a caregiver to her husband was difficult.
I just said, God, please, please. I was exhausted.
But by hearing the experiences of others at the retreat, she's learned expressing her grief is okay.
And everyone has their own unique way of working through it, and whatever you're feeling, it's okay.
More than 40 million adults in the United States spend much of their time caring for another adult. The job can be demanding to the point that caregivers put their own lives on hold. But when those duties cease, the caregiver is left with more than just grief.
And right after caregiving, fear that I'm next.
You're next. It brings up our own mortality, doesn't it? Certainly when you have people who their spouse, the person they've been with for 60 years or 50 years or 40 years or 12 years, but they were like that. All of a sudden that person isn't there. They don't know quite who they are.
And the 3-day CaringMatters retreat is designed to help those cope with the void they may be feeling now that their loved one is gone.
What'd you get, Miss June?
Exhausted.
The weekend is filled with activities and discussion that focus on processing emotions about the caregiver's own stage in life.
And we have this lovely Becoming Grief Fest.
The Grief Fest is a powerful exercise where caregivers get a physical sense of the toll this job can take.
The way we do it with the sand vest is these 1-pound bags of sand.
So what's the word that you have, Denise? Come on up. I can't see it.
Angry.
And it shows how heavy it is and how to realize that those people that are grieving are really carrying quite a burden.
All right, thank you.
Lonely.
Scared.
Overwhelmed.
Guilty.
And that it is weighing them down. So for the caregivers, it's for them to realize, ooh, yeah, this feels really heavy and it really has weighed me down.
Sad.
Sad. What was sad for you as a caregiver?
Seeing my husband's deterioration was sad.
Yes.
Took some of the pain outside. At least I'm now aware. I didn't know that there was so much pain there.
And in an exercise to help the caregivers focus on the big picture, each person was given a peacock feather and told to balance it on their finger. The room filled with smiles and laughter, and for a moment it seemed like their grief was miles away.
And that was real joy that I did not experience before for a year, 4 months, 24 days. Like, I was laughing. I believe I was, I had good time there.
Nothing negative there. It's pure love. I mean, you still have that.
Ken lost his wife to breast cancer less than a year ago. He told us since then he has been focusing on his young son Matthew, who we met at Camp Aaron.
How was it?
Good.
A bereavement camp for young people also sponsored by CaringMatters.
It's helping me to know people are here to help, and friends that have the same issues, that their parents or brother or sister died.
To say the name of the person that you lost.
My name is Matthew, and I lost my mother.
And we will light the candle inside your luminary, and we'll put it in the creek here and let it flow around the corner, okay?
The Caregivers Retreat gave Ken the time to reflect on what he's been through.
I haven't had an opportunity really to come and think about grief or focus on myself. So this is the first weekend since he's passed that my son and I actually have been separated for the weekend. Knowing there's other people in a similar situation, to get their perspective on how they're dealing with it, to hear their stories just provide some healing. And, to have that network afterward.
Research shows that the rates of depression for caregivers may rise, not fall, after caregiving ends. But through programs like the CaringMatters Retreat, caregivers learn how to refocus their lives and begin the rebuilding process.
It really is about how do I take care of myself, that if we honor ourselves, then we can give permission to those around us, family members and others that may be worried about us, to also take care of themselves. And that, I think, is one of the biggest gifts we can give.
For more information about the Caregivers Retreat and other programs offered by CaringMatters, visit their website.